on this episode of Edge of the Web.
I have never been a big fan of the hustle and grind, and now I believe it's dangerous. I believe teaching, especially young people, this mentality is a recipe for burnout and for destroying relationships and missing out on what's really important in life.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. You're listening and watching Edge of the Web. Winners of Best Podcast from the Content Marketing Institute for 2017. Hear and see more at edgeofthewebradio.com. Now, alongside Tom Broadbeck, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
Welcome back. Hey, we're broadcasting from Edge Media Studios, located in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Every week we bring you the latest trends in digital marketing and marketing influencers from around the planet. Check out all of our recent shows at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. We're powered by Site Strategics. They're the title sponsor of the show. They're the agile digital marketing strategy and execution experts here. So you want to learn more about what they do and what we do, go over to sitestrategics.com. That's SITE strategics.com. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, CEO of Site Strategics. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you joining our Facebook Live as well as Periscope Live broadcast each and every week. We're kind of doubling up on some shows here, catching up on a few ones that we had to reschedule. So we're enjoying the interactions with some fantastic guests. The reason why we do this show is a couple different reasons. One, to make sure that we're bringing you, our digital marketer listeners and advertisers. I mean, we want to bring you the best breakdown of digital marketing tactics, understanding of new trends in the marketplace. On top of that, give you some tips that you can use directly on your own websites and social media campaigns and paid ad campaigns to improve your bottom line regularly. There's another reason we do this. We want to make sure that we keep our powder dry and make sure that we are learning regularly and paying attention to everything that's current in the digital marketing space. So it's a little bit self-serving, but nonetheless, we're having a good time. We've been doing it for 6 years, and I want to introduce my co-host to you. Is Tom Broadbeck. He's the director of digital media.
Mike, there we go. Hello. Hi.
Tom, hi, how you doing, sir?
Good. Forgot to unmute the mic.
Yep.
A lot of buttons to click.
No problem. Behind the production booth today, so thanks so much, Tom.
Yep, glad to do it.
Yeah, so awesome. Well, we also want to introduce our guest, Joel Comm. He's the author of the new book, The Fun Formula.
Hey, what's going on?
Joel, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, but your set is so much sexier than my set.
I don't know. You've got we caught. Well, appreciate it. Thank you very much. But we also caught a glimpse into some of your set over there. You want to give a tilt around with the camera here and give us a bit of a view?
My view is better than your view because you got to look at Tom.
Yes. Look at that. That is Denver, Colorado, downtown Denver, Colorado, 3 miles away. That is a beautiful scene. How long have you been there?
I've been in northern Colorado now since 2007. Denver, about 5 years.
Very cool.
Absolutely love it.
Oh man, that's awesome. I've been there once or twice in my career, but always been a kind of a pass through. Also went over to Grand Junction, which is a great city.
It's not a place to pass through, though. This is a place to hang out. How do you not stop in the most majestic mountains in all of the United States? We've got 2 14ers here.
Way to shame me there. Way to shame me.
Yeah, mountain shaming. You got Indianapolis. I'm a Midwesterner. I'm from Chicago suburbs, actually.
Yep.
So, we used to go skiing at Wilmot Mountain in Wisconsin or Alpine Valley. And by skiing, I mean that, you 30-second lift up and then 20 seconds down the mountain and you're done.
We don't have anything like that. We've got little tiny hills. Little.
Yep.
And little skis. So
Wow, he's really bringing it on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, hey, we'd like to have you kind of jump into the news section of the show. Are you armed and ready for some commentary there?
Yeah, I don't even know what we're talking about. Let's talk about news.
Best way to start. All right, let's take you through the latest digital marketing news.
I was very excited to start my reportings.
this week's trending topics.
All right. So from VentureBeat, Paul Sawyers writes, social influence platform Clout to shut down on May 25th. Oh, rest in peace, Clout. Tom, give us the moratorium.
I mean, that's about it. Lithium. I didn't know it was owned by Lithium.
Yeah, they bought them out, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago.
It says bought them back in 2014.
Okay.
And launched a product called Reach, which I hadn't heard about, powered by Clout, to put social back in social media marketing.
Yep.
According to the statement issued by Lithium, Clout is incompatible with its longer-term strategy. Apparently, the Clout deal gave it access to AI and machine learning capabilities, but as a service on its own, well, that's no longer the case.
Nope.
No kidding.
I don't even know. Did you even know what your Clout score was?
Why don't you look up and see? Go and pull up just at Joel Comm there on the browser.
Okay.
Clout.com if it's still there.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Clout did matter.
Yeah.
And it was relevant. But I knew the moment Lithium bought it, and I saw no press releases, no intent for it. I'm like, it's over.
Yeah.
It's done. And
and it started to break a little bit. And I think my Clout score, I had like a 38 or 42 at one point in time.
You're so powerful. This, and actually my friend Mark Schaefer just wrote a great article about these influencer lists that we pop up on and people give a little too much credence to, and how real influence, what they're able to measure through Twitter APIs of likes, follows, shares, retweets, all that stuff is such a small component of what real influence is. And that's what Clout did. I never mind when I show up on a list. It's nice. Thanks very much. It's great. Look at me. I'm with all my peers. But I could point to individuals on that list who I know are gaming the system, who aren't really influential at all.
Right.
And so it's kind of Barbara Streisand. Did we find my score there, Tom?
I'm still looking it up here. I had to.
I might not even be there. I don't know.
I had to register. To register for an account. You just can't search.
Oh, well, that's sad.
And now it's just loading.
I might not have any Clout any longer.
Is it bad that the lists that you get on are actually the lists at the post office?
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, I did get a few goodies from Clout, in the day, because they tried to send some stuff to you so that you would then, talk about it and tweet it and whatnot. I'm pulling it up right here. And in fact, through the magic of technology, I believe I can actually share this browser with you. Okay. And look at this magic all up in your face. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I'm an 84.
Dude.
Oh.
Is my Clout score. I think I peaked out a couple of years ago. I hit like 87 once upon a time, and I was definitely a better human being for no.
Well, R.I.P. Clout. Sorry to see you go, but you're absolutely right. There's a tear.
It's gone. It's dead.
All right. From Tech Radar, Michelle Fitzsimmons says the most exciting thing about Google I/O 2018 was also the most practical. Check this out. Head south on Montgomery Street. Sure thing. Google Maps. I have to figure out which way is south. Anyone who's actually used Google Maps, right? Walking navigation has run into a lot of situations like that. Well, what have they done? They've actually updated their I/O or their AI environment for maps, and now they've got an environment where Google Maps new walking navigation features will actually use your phone's camera, artificial intelligence, and augmented reality, AR, to give you a real-world view of your surroundings while in a navigation. Now, that's very cool. If you actually pull up that picture, Tommy, you already had it.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me scroll down through our browser in vMix. So
this is kind of weird. Is that it's almost like it's almost like a Harry Potter thing. It's kind of wild, actually, because as you use your camera, you can actually scroll through what you're seeing, and you'll have additional navigation floating with you, additional content flowing with you. Absolutely, kind of weird. So you've got this is very virtual reality. This is a very like Mona Lisa Overdrive William Gibson stuff, man.
Augmented reality. I just hear I-O, please show me where to go. I hate to be the cynic, but on the other hand, maybe I don't hate to be the cynic. I ditched my Alexa. See, now I can say Alexa in my house without.
Oh, you just turned on ours.
It's awesome. This whole surveillance society, I feel like we're going too far.
Yep.
And look, we know how this ends. We've seen the films. We're all gonna die.
Skynet.
Right? It is. This is. I'm gonna tell. Can I tell a quick story?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna anyway. So there's this artificial intelligence robot created by Singularity Net called Sophia.
Yep.
And basically, the first time I saw her interact with her creator was at a conference last year. And the scientist who's created this AI robot that will engage with you, he looks like the crazy scientist out of one of the movies. Nothing against the guy. I'm sure he's wonderful. He's got really long hair. He's kind of like out of the Woodstock era. And he's like, and she could do this. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're the first one she's going to kill. He's going to turn on you first.
Yep.
And it's just a little too creepy. Now, this stuff with Google, is it cool? Yeah, it's cool. But
yeah, it's creepy beyond creepy. Getting into the space where virtual reality is going to be more preferred than reality. I mean, I can tell you right now that my son's nose, my 18-year-old son's nose, is in the meme world more than the real world, and it is so sad. And we're having to start memeing him just to communicate to him. How about that?
Well, and to be fair, this is augmented reality.
Correct. It's augmented, but people are going to want to live in this augmented reality. Except that, I mean, there you go. There's VR right there. Except that Google Glass never got off the ground. What was that?
It was an experiment, a very expensive one, and Google, like they do with so many of their experiments, they give up on them. I mean, Google fails at way more things than they succeed at. They've succeeded at search. They've succeeded at advertising. They've succeeded at email, but a lot of the other things they've done have come and gone.
Yeah.
Right? They still haven't gotten social right. How many social networks? Buzz, Wave, Plus, fail.
That's absolutely correct. And I mean, things have fallen off, but more and more people are camping inside of these spaces, and you're going to have a sociological break at some point in time where so many want to just opt in and just be plugged back into the matrix, right?
I think so. There'll be the woke and the unwoke.
I like
woke it. And I'm watching out.
Oh, well.
Are you bugging me? Right? You're watching?
Yeah, they are. And we all love Google. And Alexa. All right, hey, from The Verge, from Adi Robertson, Google is delaying a Chrome audio update that broke countless web games. Tom, what's this article about, and why did they break all these web games?
So we had this article about how Google was going to disable all audio playing sound that was playing on in the browser. So apparently it broke some web games, and it made some people very angry. And so they decided to roll back on it. It says here, Google's product manager says the team here is working hard to improve things for users and developers, but in this case, we didn't do a good job of communicating the impact of the new autoplay policy to developers. And so they're rolling it back to give developers time to adjust. So it says the limits will return in Chrome's version 70, which is set to release in October.
I want to hear my corn shucking when I pull it out of the ground in Farmville. Dang it. I'm going to tick some people off. Can't hear my tractor no more.
It's probably Roblox. That's what they're talking about. If you've not come across Roblox as parents, my gosh, that's a time sucker for kids. Hey, quickly, Tom, I want you to pull up a quick search real quick. This is off script, but YouTube just announced their audio streaming service. That's going to be a reboot of our YouTube Red. And I don't know if you've heard about that, Joel.
I have not.
I
refuse to pay YouTube any money.
Now check this out. They're going to roll out their audio streaming, so it's going to be competitive with iTunes. All right, and they're going to charge you $9.99 for get this, $9.99, just like the red price for the non-advertising environment. So you're paying $9.99 to not have ads, but they also have a premium with ads for $11.99. Now I heard that today, and I'm scratching my head going, what in the world is going on here? So why in the world do they have ads at a higher rate?
Are they paying you back to listen?
No, but they actually have some premium additional features. That's what's happening here, is that there's some additional audio features and premium features from this YouTube Premium functionality. Anyway, this is an entire reboot of YouTube Red, so they're jumping in with both feet into the audio side of things.
So it'll be audio and video.
Yeah,
cool.
That's pretty big leap.
Yeah, once they tie it in to YouTube TV, then I might get it.
Yeah. That's probably good. Yeah. Anyway, there's a premium article today. Breaking news on Edge of the Web. You know what? You can get all that breaking news if you just sign up to our newsletter. So simply text to the number 22828 the word Edge Talk, and you can sign up right there. Our newsletter is going out each and every week, and it's full of great content and breaking news in the digital marketing space. We're bringing a lot of information about who we interviewed last week, who we're going to be interviewing in the upcoming week, and a pro tip here or there. So check that out. Join the Edge of the Web radio newsletter. If you want to jump into edgeofthewebradio.com, you can sign up right there at the header. In fact, Joel just signed up for our newsletter. You can see it. He just gave us thumbs up. It's fantastic. Got to share that out. All right, so follow all the trending topics over at edgeofthewebradio.com. So let's now deep dive with this week's featured guest.
Now it's time for Edge of the Web featured interview with Joel Comm, author of the new book, The Fun Formula.
That is one dapper headshot there, Joel.
I could watch that transition, again and again. That was fantastic.
Yeah, we got the deep voice guy for you too.
That was artsy. And now our featured interview of the week. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Hey.
All right. Hey, so for our audience who has not met you yet, shame on you. Joel Comm is actually is the New York Times best-selling author of 13 books. 13 books, people, and has appeared in New York Times as well as the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Won't hold up against him. CNN, Fox News, and more. His new book, The Fun Formula, shares stories and anecdotes from Joel's life, and there it is, right there on the screen. And those others who, it shows you how subtle changes in thinking and routine can enable us to design the life we truly desire, one of significance and joy. That's quite poetic there, Joel.
Yes, and you read it like Shakespeare. That was almost iambic pentameron.
Wow. Yeah. See. I'm beginning to understand the Joel Comm the sarcasm.
Well,
it's
I don't even get it.
Well, Joe, hey, that's your official backstory, but let's hear your backstory as you deliver it.
The official backstory is I'm a nerd.
Yay!
I've always been a nerd, and I'll always be a nerd. And the geeks will inherit the earth. As we have. I got into computers when I was 16 years old, and I'm about to seriously date myself right now because I had a TRS-80 Model 1 with 4K of RAM and a cassette player for a medium device in 1980.
You beat me. I had a Model 3.
Well, us old timers remembered the Model 1. And I had a coupler modem, the kind you would dial the phone and then put it on the thing, and it would transfer 300 baud.
Oh, yes. You're speaking my language.
Yeah, bulletin boards and such. So that means I have been dialing into the online world for 38 years.
Wow. What's that date again? How many years?
38.
38 years.
I was 16 when I got the computer, so math is fun.
Oh my
Lord. I learned early on that I didn't want to be a programmer. I could not code my way out of a paper bag, except for basic, like line 10, print hello, line 20, go to 10, and it would just do this infinite loop. but I didn't like coding, but I was fascinated with computers and using them and playing games on them, or, using applications, whatever. And that just continued. And always been a computer gamer. Here's my, can't tell that I still like playing computer games, my gaming headset and all that stuff. And I still, just about every day, I'll shoot things, online.
Got to.
My decompression time. It's fun. And I'm not about fun. I remember reading a computer software magazine like PC Gamer or something in 1994 and thinking to myself, I'll bet the people who review the software get all the free games they want. So I put 2 and 2 together and used my design skills using Adobe PageMaker, Aldus PageMaker before Adobe bought it. And I came up with the Dallas-Fort Worth Software Review, living in Dallas at the time, and started calling these software companies. And before you know it, it was like Christmas every day at my house. I was getting packages via UPS, Postal Service, DHL, FedEx, international services, you name it. They were showing up and all the software was heading my way. And I created this print publication. And somebody said to me, have you thought about taking your reviews and turning them into HTML to be viewed with a web browser on the World Wide Web? And I said, that sounds stupid. January 1995, I went to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and the lights went on. Boop. I realized what the web was. I knew the online world. I'd been on Prodigy, AOL, America Online back then, CompuServe, but I didn't understand the web. And I had my first website up by July 1995. And to fast track through the rest, since that time, I've dabbled in a number of different fields, whether blogging or video or live video or internet marketing, affiliate marketing, building sites, selling sites, creating apps, creating software, selling information products, podcasting. I've done just about everything that's not illegal, immoral, or fattening. I didn't need to work to get fat. I just ate a lot. And so now here I am with book number 15, The Fun Formula. I've reverse engineered my successes, and I've been able to distill it into a process that I think is duplicable, no matter who you are, whether you're a high school student or college graduate, or you're just getting started in the work world, you're an entrepreneur, you're small business, you're already a successful business person looking at what's the next thing in life, or you're a retiree asking that question as well.
He literally went through my life, which was really, really freaky. Every one of those stops along the way. I think we were separated at birth, man. Except for the book, John. I mean, and in the review. So I kind of stopped at just making sure we were building websites. But man, that is fantastic. That's a great journey that you've been on, and you've got enough. You took enough time to do some self-inspection and reflection on your different stages of your journey. So you've got a model. You've got a recipe for success for anyone who's actually doing this. Do you actually have a book about that particular model?
Yeah, well, that's what the Fun Formula is.
Beautiful.
The theme of what I've discovered. We as entrepreneurs, we try things, and most often they fail. Sometimes they break even, but every now and then, if you swing for the fences, you hit a home run. And in my career, I've had a number of those unicorn home runs. I sold a site to Yahoo for 7 figures. I created an iPhone application that went to #1 in the whole world in the App Store.
Wow.
I hosted and produced the world's first competitive internet reality show. I'm a New York Times bestseller, and right now I've got a podcast that's the most popular cryptocurrency podcast in the iTunes store. And so there's a lot of failures I can go through as well. But what I realized is there is this current mentality out there that if you want to succeed, you need to hustle and grind.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get up early. You need to get to be the first to the office. You need to stay late while your friends are off, having a drink on the weekends. You need to be there hitting the pavement. Hustle.
You just got to crush it. No offense to Mr. V.
Yeah, it works for Gary.
Yeah.
But and I think it works. We'll see in the end. What does works mean? Does works mean that I made a lot of money?
Right.
Is that the measurement we use? See, I've made a lot. I've lost a lot. I know how to make. Making money to me is not the measurement of what makes a successful and fulfilling life. You could measure a successful business by the profits that are made.
Right.
But even then, I don't look at it as that. I look at it, in terms of profits and people helped, lives touched. What difference did I make?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have never been a big fan of the hustle and grind, and now I believe it's dangerous. I believe teaching, especially young people, this mentality is a recipe for burnout and for destroying relationships and missing out on what's really important in life. And I know that because I've been in that hustle space. And what I discovered is, when I reverse engineered this, is all of the major wins that I've had didn't come about from hustling and grinding. They came about from three things. One, allowing my creativity to flow, right? Just being true to who I am and what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, being willing to take risks. Yeah, no guts, no glory, no pain, no gain, right? All that. You have to be willing to fail. And number three, serendipity. That unknown of trusting the process, that things happen in the right time. And it could be just showing up for an event and meeting the right person, responding to the right email, taking the right phone call. It's the little things that move the mountains, not the hustle and grinding. And that's why it's the fun formula, because I have fun doing what I'm doing, always have, and always will. And I know that lifestyle is so much more important to me than any materialism that I could hope for.
Oh wow, it's almost like a clarion call that you're giving right here, because the combination of young people that are their self-worth is connected so intrinsically to social media and how many likes and how many watchers and how many viewers, right? And then you also have this break of social connection by hustle and grinding so much to try to achieve something that's even nebulous in that degree, right? You're really you're putting such incredible odds against the success of these young people. It's really a complete fabrication that they're pursuing, and you're right, they're going to break. I mean,
but don't you want to be the guy in your garage with your Lamborghini and the big mansion and the pool and all the pretty girls around the pool and more money than you know what to do with? Isn't that the meaning of life?
So we have to define it differently, and we have to be able to educate ourselves. We're still in our immature state, standing inside of this country, but let alone just the world. We just don't get it yet that it's not material gain. It's satisfaction in life. It's enjoyment. It's value of sitting by a campfire and sharing stories. That's important. It's not bad to have a Lamborghini, but at the same time, if you don't have any friends and you have that car that's not going to drive any friends anywhere, you've missed out on that, right?
Yeah, well, and what's really interesting is while this book is coming out, I've just gone through a personal transition. Been through a lot of transitions, in my 5.5 decades, but just went through one as we're getting ready to release this book, and that was moving. And making a decision to unencumber myself. I was in a house here in Denver, cute little house. I'm divorced. My kids are grown and gone. So it's just me. But it's me and all my stuff.
Yeah.
I had a massive software collection. We're talking a couple thousand pieces of vintage software. Comic book collection from my past. I had stuff everywhere. My basement was filled with boxes of stuff. And I recently decided to scale back. I moved back to apartment living, found a nice luxury apartment in Denver. You saw the view. It's fantastic. And I got rid of, I would say, a good 80 to 85% of my personal possessions.
Wow.
Things that I was holding on to, things that I don't know what I was going to do with them. I don't know where I was going to take them. But every time I move, I'm carting the stuff with me.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to things that I thought I would carry with me almost to my grave, and said, you know what? I don't need this anymore. This isn't serving a purpose. This is just baggage. And releasing that stuff, if young people could learn to not gather all these things to begin with, you'll save yourself a lot of heartache.
Wow. Yeah, unpacking that little, pun intended, unpacking that a little bit further. That we're seeing a pattern here with what you're doing, and you're really breaking the mold, breaking the it's not even a rut. It's breaking these fabricated goals that society has.
As long as it's not Breaking Bad, I don't want to end up like Walter.
I see the crystal meth cook that's happening in the background there.
As mine never comes out icy blue like that. So.
You're having fun. That's the formula for fun. So this connection to the physical material stuff. I mean, you just gone through this journey of purging yourself. Yeah. Why do you think, that's a big old psychological question, but why do you think our self-worth is so tied to the acquirement of all these pieces? And are we talking about the same thing to a degree of the social side of things, the hustle and grind, all this mentality around I've got to be bigger and better, and I've got to have watchers be able to see what I'm doing?
Because somehow that's how we get validated, by what other people think of us.
Yep.
We're taught, society teaches us, you want to be better, faster, stronger, more attractive, sexier, wealthier. Look at that. This car costs more. Well, I should have that. This house is bigger. I should have that. Jealousy, envy, those are part of 7 deadly sins, right? Lusting after what other people have, instead of learning to be content with who we are in what we have without comparing ourselves. But it's a constant, pissing match with other people to compare ourselves, because somehow it's that schoolyard bully mentality that we take with us as adults. If I can be bigger than you, appear bigger than you, then I'm more significant than you. This is why I'm not impressed with any person that's wealthy because they're wealthy. I'm not impressed with anybody who's powerful just because they have powerful. I'm impressed by people of character. The people that I admire most are not people that, most people know who they are. My real heroes, people talk about heroes, and they usually talk about, celebrities or historical figures. And my heroes are living, breathing heroes, people that I know that live a life of service to others, that are making serious impact. They're making a dent in this world that shames me, that I feel like, this is all I'm doing, writing books and, blah, 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 making jokes. Those are the real heroes. Those are the real role models, the stay-at-home moms that sacrifice maybe a career they would have to raise responsible children. Those are heroes. The teachers that actually teach, that actually put themselves into work, not the ones that are there just for the tenure, the ones that are there on the government dole, but the ones who actually love teaching and making a difference. The men and women who go off to work to make a real impact through what they're doing, not just to make a buck. The service people, whether military or firefighters or police officers, doctors, right? People that are making a real impact, they're going to find fulfillment in what they do, not in what they have. Finding fulfillment in what you have is shallow, and ultimately it's empty. It's always going to leave you wanting more. It is kind of like, meth, I would suppose, though I've never tried meth. I'm never going to either. But this addictive materialism, money is this addictive substance, and comparing yourselves to others and trying to catch up with the Joneses and keep up with them or surpass them.
Yeah.
Screw that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, well said. It's very juvenile. And society needs to grow up a good deal more and realize that, we're going to have this next evolution of social media where it's not the likes, it's not the follows. We've got to be authentic and be able to, be content with what we have. And
so mature society.
Yeah.
but here's the problem, and this is why I don't think that what you're saying is the next evolution of social media will actually come to pass.
You don't think so?
Nope, I don't. I think that we'll talk about it. I think that it needs to be talked about, and some people will change. But look, we've been around long enough to see human nature doesn't change. People are going to be envious. They're going to be jealous. They're going to want what other people have. They're going to compare themselves. They're going to be insecure because we have a cycle, right? We have a cycle of adults. None of us are perfect. So what do? We have babies when we're barely adults ourselves. We're still children. I don't care if you're 25 and having a child. You don't know anything about raising a child until you can't read enough books to know it until you do it, right? And I've done it twice. And now that they're older and grown adults that are, adding their productivity to the world around them, I see things that I did that were like, oh man, how did I not screw you up more? Right. And so it's the cycle. And I think it's more part of human nature, which is why personal responsibility really needs to be what we're teaching instead of this victimhood mentality that our culture is leaning onto with identity politics. And don't get me started.
No, I oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I mean, it's the real stuff. We gotta stop. I mean, the entire affirmation side of things. And I mean, literally what Simon Sinek, his video about the dopamine injection that kids are getting with text, and that companies are now having to be parents because those parents didn't give them the guidelines of what's real, what's not. So there's such an addiction to just being affirmed. It's ridiculous.
Like this post. Why aren't more of you watching? I need.
Well, where do you think this hustle and grind mentality started?
Well, again, it's comparing. It's needing to keep up with others. It's this idea, we were taught from the previous generation that hard work is a virtue. I don't disagree with that. There's seasons in life. Yep. There's times you have to do what you have to do, right? My stepfather worked 3 jobs when he was younger to make ends meet because he had a wife and 3 daughters, to take care of. And he worked day and night because he did what he had to do. But having to do it and choosing to do it are 2 different things. One is honorable. The other one is just a little diluted, right? You're missing out on all life. So we take this idea that, if hard work is good, then more hard work is better, right? Because math. But that's not the case. There's no balance in that. And what I've discovered is I can get more done in 5 hours by doing the right things. Yep. Some people who go to work for a whole week will do, for 40 hours. It's just because it really is something to working smart and not hard. You're not lazy if you don't work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. It just means you figured out how to accomplish what you want to accomplish in a shorter period of time and get stuff done, which gives you what? More abundant choices to do what you want with the rest of your time. That's what I want to awaken people to. I want to help I want to come alongside parents and help them with their high schoolers and their college kids to avoid falling into this trap, because it is a trap. And I want to help those that might already be in the trap, or those questioning, where do I do next? Where do I bring value now?
Oh, man. Well, I want to talk about your book to a deeper level here, because, I mean, you've got the formula. You absolutely are locking in, and you're telling our audience, I mean, this is you got to break from these fictional norms and have fun while you're working. You in another book that you actually mentioned, that you talked about. The first chapter was called "The Top 5 Regrets of Dying." You actually mentioned that in the book. Can you share with us some of that insight? Two stand out, but I'd like you to kind of unpack some of that.
Well, I mean, people look back at their lives, deathbed experiences, and they don't go, "I wish I had made more money.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a house with 3 bedrooms instead of 2. I wish I'd had a boat. I wish I had a nicer car." Those aren't the things that people look back on.
Yep.
It's all about quality of life, experiences, and most of all, relationships.
Yep.
That's what they look back on. The regret is, why didn't I take more time with my kids, my spouse, my significant other? Why didn't I go do this thing that was always in me, whether it was paint or act or dance or fly? People wait. They wait. I have family members that I love that bought into the American dream, and for 30 years have been commuting back and forth to a job they hate, planning for retirement. Well, guess what? There's no guarantee for tomorrow for any of us.
Mm-hmm.
For any of us, today could be the last day that we woke up.
Yep.
And at some point, it will be the last day we woke up. And so it's futile to think that, oh, one day I'm going to, because you might not get to. Or when you do get to, you might not have the means that you had before. You might not have the health that you had before to do those things then. And so regrets come from that space of experiences and relationships. And so we have to carpe the heck out of the diems right today, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And once you get to the end of your life,
Mm-hmm.
that's all you have left are the memories of what you've done or the regrets for not having done it.
Jeez, that's heavy.
I know. Well, you brought up the book,
I
5
did.
Regrets of Dying. It doesn't get any heavier than that.
I know, but that's the thing.
Sobering.
It ties to what we're talking about here. If you're, and we all understand that's what people regret, and we know that conventionally across the board, when you're getting close to the end, that's what you look back and wish you had more of. We all know that. We all hear that. Why isn't that permeating back into culture and straightening things out?
Well, it does for some,
Yeah.
But we also have competing messages, right? And the messages from our society, which I'm a big fan of capitalism, produce stuff, sell stuff, everybody wins, right?
Make a profit.
There's no limit to that. But the messages, that go along with that are, you need this so you can be prettier. You need this so you can be happier. You need to dress like this so you'll be in, right? These messages that are false messages are damaging. And, if we as adults fall for it, we're teaching our kids to fall for it. We're way overindulging children. We're giving kids access to the internet and to digital devices way too early. They are seeing things that you and I didn't see unless we, snuck a Playboy magazine, from somewhere.
Right.
The things that children are being exposed to now, the depth of depravity that they're seeing, whether they're seeking it out or not, it's scarring them. It's putting images into their minds, which is twisting their perception of what the real world is. And that's why parents, it is your responsibility to set some tight boundaries. Just because Billy's and Sally's parents, say it's okay for them to do this or go there or have whatever, doesn't mean that you should give in to peer pressure.
I've got
Be the grown up.
Yeah, you are the grown up. Our family is going through a particular step off the cliff here. Is we're going to be banning all games and digital devices in our house.
Really? Complete?
For the kids, they're not going to be getting the phones, and we're going to be taking them off of the video games. Mom and Dad's phone go in the basket, and we are just tired of the challenge, because you're literally having to step up your marketing game for your kids to get the distraction away from them. They are so sucked into these devices that that causes strife and rifts between family members. It is such a friction point, right? That
you know what the best game is? It's this thing.
Othello. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Play when we were younger, and you didn't need to plug in. You didn't need to stare at a screen. You just needed to open the front door and go outside.
Oh my God!
Remember outside, and we'd play, kick the can or hide and seek or baseball, whatever. We were with other kids. We were socializing, and we survived. Now I can't go take a poop without this thing. Like seriously, try going. I mean, you're going to do this, but for most people who are watching, try going to the bathroom and having a sit without your phone. You're going to be bored. You're like, what do I do? What did I do before? Well, you did your business. You got up and you left. Now you camp out because you're there anyway. You're sitting, you're comfortable.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact guest who we had on a while back, but I think she was actually talking about these spaces where we need gaps just to pause and be bored. We're wired to have boredom so we can make better use of the times of excitement and focus. If we are constantly ADD drilled and adrenalized, our brains don't work well. They get exhausted. They break down because you're not giving that balance. We're supposed to be bored. And we're also supposed to be completely unplugged, guys. We all know that. But we have to...
People are watching this right now. You're plugged in to watch this, which goes to show, pardon my interruption, but it goes to show how technology itself is amoral. It's what we do with it that matters, right? There's not such a, VR, AR aren't evil, right? It's what we do with them. So there are things that can be done with them that are going to be beneficial, that are going to help people. But by the same token, whenever money is involved, you're going to have evil people seek to do evil things with them, to corrupt, to profit, and it's unavoidable.
No, you're absolutely right. So, in the fun formula, you say that the idea of a work-life balance is a myth. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, I read once somewhere, and I can't remember who said this initially, and I'm sure the internet attributes it to a half a dozen people wrongly, but the quote was, if you can tell the difference between your work and your play, you're doing one of them wrong. See, we're taught that work is something that you do because you have to, and you're not supposed to really enjoy it. You just got to work, get it done. I've never approached my work that way. If I'm not feeling creativity in what I'm doing, if I'm not, interested in it, if there's not a connection to a passion in here with who I am, then I don't want to do it. This is why I love doing video. I love being on interviews. I love broadcasting my own live videos. I'm passionate about it. I get to talk about what's really important. And hopefully if, one person out there gets a little something, they're like, oh, there's a little nugget of truth there. I'm going to apply that in my life. Guess what? Mission accomplished.
Amen.
And so work, play. I mean, look at this. If you got a teeter-totter and it's in balance, what does it mean? It means you're not moving. It means it's not a very fun teeter-totter. It's neither teetering nor tottering.
You're planking.
You do this for it to be fun. And so balance is this, it is a myth. It's not a real thing. I think what we're looking for is not balance, but kind of a realm that makes sense for us, that allows us to do what we love to do, to get paid for it, and to have a lifestyle that is fulfilling to us. That's what real balance is.
And it has to be what's fulfilling to you, not what's fulfilling to somebody else, because everybody's fulfillment is their own fingerprint, for lack of a better description.
And this is what sends me back to our friend Gary. I've known Gary Vee for a number of years, interviewed him for the first time on a tweet-a-thon I did in 2010, I think, or 2010. And now he's much bigger, but I ran into him in an event recently. And what he does, that's for him. And he'll even tell people, don't try to be like me.
Right.
But because these young people and some that are older want what they think they want, what he has or who he is, they follow this anyway, and they start making videos about, that are similar to his, and they want to own a football team or a basketball team, like he does. You can't be anybody else. If you want to succeed in life, then be you. Like, just be the best damn you can be, which means let your creativity flow.
Yep.
Regardless of what anybody else says, what anybody else is doing, regardless of what your competition is up to. Take risks, be willing to fail, and then trust the process. Don't rush it. Can't tell you how many times I've seen people come up with an idea and immediately they have to go full steam ahead into forcing it to try to make it happen. It's the putting the cart before the horse phenomenon. And if you do that, what happens? You end up with hoof prints up and down your back. No, but patience truly is a virtue. And if we wait for the right moment, the right idea, the right time, the right contact, the right partner, the right phone call, the right email, going to the right place, the right timing has so much more to do with whether or not you're going to succeed at something than your desire to see it happen. So I allow things to happen. I plant seeds for ideas that I have, with people in my life. Like, we mentioned before we went on, I have a motto, do good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Created a t-shirt line around do good stuff. I would love for do good stuff to be worn by people all over the world, because I think it's an inspiring and encouraging message. It encourages others to do good, because when you do good without expecting something in return, good invariably comes back to you. It's a law of the universe, stated less eloquently than probably is. I would love for it to become, worn everywhere, just like these Life is Good shirts that I wear all the time. I love their brand, but I'm not forcing it. I'm waiting for the right person to come along and go, I want to license that, or I want to help grow that.
Right.
I'm not pursuing it in and of itself. I'm allowing life to unfold, and it always, always, always does.
But that also necessitates that you got to be able to know what you're seeing when it comes, and
right.
be aware. And the Seth Godin book about when I can't remember the title of the book, but it's about the slump that everybody gets into before things take off. Lord, I can't remember the name of that book.
In fact,
The Dip. Yeah.
What was it?
The Dip.
The Dip. I just experienced the dip, and this is I can't wait. I'm going to be giving keynotes on this talk after this book gets out there, and the best story that I can tell, I'm going to share with you right now, and it's about my own dip that was taking place while writing this book. If you want to challenge what it is you believe, then find yourself having to practice it while you're writing about it. And I didn't know it was going to happen, but long story short, after being married 23 years, I was separated and then divorced, and I had to find a new, who am I now? I was too heavy. I wasn't really spiritually connected to God in a way that was meaningful. Emotionally, I was a mess. And so I took a couple of years sabbatical to really work on myself. I didn't write, I didn't speak. I did I did some social media, but I wasn't really pursuing work. I was pursuing personal health. So I lost 55 pounds. I spiritually reconnected and found more significance and meaning in my life. Emotionally, I moved further down the path of self-actualization. I don't think we ever really get there. But I became healthier. And when I came out from this semi-sabbatical, I had talents, I had skills. I wrote some books. I got into teaching people about live video. I was getting paid to go speak. And from all appearances, I'm living a very successful life. But I felt like I was just coasting on my past successes. That for me, innovation and doing new things equals success. And I wasn't doing anything new, but I didn't know what to do. So as I'm writing the fund formula, I'm having to trust the process. I'm looking at my bank account and going, okay, what's it going to take? What do I need to do? And when that happens, we start going, how do I make money? And it dawned on me that, wait a second, you're falling into the trap. You're writing right now about being creative, taking risks, and trusting the process. You're going to have to do all of that right now, my friend. And so I waited. And when the first draft was turned in, I was still waiting. In July of last year, I had really taken an interest in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, all that world. It just really caught my attention. I was fascinated with it. And I started having conversations with my friend Travis Wright, who's a leading marketing technologist. And every day we were messaging back and forth about cryptocurrency. And we talked so often that on July 16th, 2017, Travis messaged me and he sarcastically said, when are we going to start the Joel and Travis crypto show? Well, the moment he said that, boom, it landed. It landed here. It landed here. I said, I have an idea. 2 days later, we launched the first episode of the Bad Crypto podcast. The show took off. It's a unicorn. We're in the top 50 of business podcasts in iTunes. We've been in the top 200 of all shows in the world. And we are now doing more about crypto than I'm doing just about anything else right now. And I'm having a blast and it's profitable. I found my fun. I trusted the process and it happened while I was writing about how it's important to trust the process for this book.
Oh, man.
For anybody who says, oh, well, you're Joel, you've got, books in the New York Times bestseller, are very successful and blah, blah, blah. I was right where you might be right now, having to do the very same thing that I'm teaching others to do. And once again, I saw it come to fruition.
Oh man, that story needed to happen. You realize that.
And I knew that while it was happening.
Oh.
I said, this has to happen. I am being tested. Otherwise, what I'm putting out there, it's fake. Yep. It's not real, and it has to be real. Otherwise, blah, blah, blah. Why another book? No reason. Just because I got paid for it, not a good enough reason. It has to bring value. It has to make a difference in people's lives.
That is a great story, and it's appropriate, and it should have happened that way. So, I mean, as much as it was stressful, it also plugged you into great success, and that's fantastic, Joel. Hey, this is a great conversation. We would certainly implore you to come back on the show because we want to unpack. You got a lot more in that cranium that we want to scoop out. We would like to know.
Two scoops.
A little bit of lobotomy. Just pull it up. Anyway, the point is, we always want to ask our guests what bugs them about their industry. So what's really grinding your gears right now?
How much time do we have?
3 minutes. Go.
What's really grinding my gears is the bias of Silicon Valley, the giants of Silicon Valley, Google, Facebook, Twitter, the amount of censorship that takes place for political reasons.
The masters of the universe there.
Yeah, it's evil. It really is, because free speech is important. And there is a definite tendency to ban and block voices that they don't feel are correct, and that's trouble. That's very troubling, and I've got some major issues with that, and I'm afraid that if we don't see a pendulum swing, like if we don't see new sites come up that can replace that, the amount of power and authority given to Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey and Sergey and Larry is overwhelming.
I couldn't agree with you more there. It is done. It's scary, and I think it's also combined with what we talked about earlier. Society's allowing this just to run amok and control what we believe. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. I mean,
I predicted last year that Twitter's going to face a large-scale boycott in 2018. Whether or not it happens this year or not, it's going to happen at some point, because they are, whether people, they can say it's not true, but there's more than enough evidence to prove that they are silencing blocking and banning voices that they are trying to squash, and they are allowing others to say totally irresponsible, crazy, horrible things, and they're not touching it.
And YouTube, Google's doing the same thing with YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's just as horrible.
Yeah,
just as horrible, and they know it. If they don't know it, then they're so blind. Anybody who doesn't see this is just choosing not to see it. But the evidence it's everywhere.
Yeah, it is
very well documented.
Well, you're absolutely right. Well, conversely, what excites you about your industry right now?
Well, the blockchain part of industry, I think, is what excites me, is decentralization, giving power back to people, allowing free speech and freedom to reign. We have gotten way too deep into political correctness. I remember when I was a little boy, I go to the bookstore. Remember the bookstores? And I would buy joke books, and I would buy all kinds of joke books, Irish jokes, Jewish jokes. I'm Jewish. Polish jokes, Italian joke book. And these days, you can't make fun of anything because we're all so sensitive, and you hurt my feelings, as though, don't listen, right? Comedians are the only ones that still are able to get away with no sacred cows, and even they are chastised. I'm not a huge fan of Ricky Gervais's politics, but there's a special he's got on HBO right now called Humanity that just nails this whole political correctness thing. And he says whatever he wants, and he doesn't care. And I miss those times. If your feelings are hurt, okay, go suck your thumb, go have your feelings hurt, and don't listen anymore. If you don't like this show, don't listen. If you don't like me, don't listen to me. Nobody's making you.
Nope. And we certainly are not going to be reactionary and avoid any type of controversies. I mean, that's what open, free conversation dialogue is.
Oh, I need a safe space. I need to hurt my feelings. Whiny little babies. Cut it out. Grow up. The real world is waiting for you, and the real world isn't a safe space. And you have to be willing to intellectually arm yourself to share ideas, to discuss, to debate, not to be violent, not to name call, not to troll, not to be immature, but to be adults and discuss ideas like the great philosophers of old. They would meet in town square, and they would discuss, and they would debate, and they would pick ideas apart to determine which are the best ones. And I've discovered that there are those who are very afraid of ideas, and so they are sheltering themselves under this guise of political correctness and hurt feelings, and it's damaging.
They're afraid, and on top of that, they also have weak arguments, and it's very easy to be able to kibosh the entire discussion with PC, as opposed to actually bringing your best game and actually having a debate. Well,
you know what controlling speech is. It's very simple. It's fascism.
Absolutely.
You can't say or think this, because that's not right. It's amazing to me, without getting too deep in politics, how those out there screaming "no fascists" are actually the ones that are being fascists. It's mind-boggling.
We're in the Orwellian stage. We just took a couple decades or three to get there. Hey, let's pull back around here real quick. Is there something that we can promote for you on the show today?
Oh, well, I'd love for everybody to go grab a copy of the book. Go to funformulabook.com. The book comes out June 5th, but if you pre-order it, there's a number of awesome bonuses that you get, including chapters to download and read right now, 20% of the audiobook. You can start listening.
Oh, cool.
A workbook that's like an accompanying guide to help you work through each chapter and write out personalized for you, what your takeaways are, and a 3-part video series. So funformulabook.com. You'll see all the places you can buy it, and then go back to the site and put in your order number, and you get your bonuses right away.
Sweet. It's right there on the screen. And for our audience, again, it's our audio audience, it's funformulabook.com. There's the website right there. Too cool. You must have had fun writing this, as well as what an incredible experience going through that dip that you shared with us. Thank you very much. So there's $100 value for free. For free.
Who doesn't like free? It is my core message. There's no, out of the 15 books and 40 PDFs and ebooks that I've written, this is the one that is most personal, where I'm sharing, what I believe is going to be most helpful to the greatest number of people. It's not, how to use Twitter for business or how to make money with AdSense. This is about your life. And as a result of being about your life, it will impact your business.
Roger that. We're certainly going to grab a copy of it for us. I really appreciate what you've done there. Get three. Okay.
If one's good, three's 3 times good. Get 10. Buy a whole case.
And give them to your friends.
Absolutely. It makes a great gift, especially if you've got high schoolers or college students.
Yeah, start them on the path correctly. Absolutely. So for our audience, you want to check out Joel on Twitter, Joel Comm, C-O-M-M, Facebook, Joel Comm as well, LinkedIn, Joel Comm, and Instagram, Joel Comm. Check. Fantastic branding there. Hey, it's been such a pleasure meeting with you today and learning about what you're doing and how you're affecting the world. Hey, I think we align a lot in a lot of different ways, man. But you still have one up on me with the TRS Model 1. That's gonna chafe me for a while.
Can't go back and change that, dude. Sorry.
Hey, any final words for our digital marketing audience today?
Go out there and do good stuff.
Do good stuff. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for listening and watching for this broadcast. We really appreciate everybody's participation. Thank you to the colleagues at Site Strategics for the production. Thanks for their title sponsorship. And you might want to go check out Site Strategics and see what we can do for you in the spaces of digital marketing. Hey, make sure you check out all the insider information over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. Hey, we're going to be coming back around on Tuesday for another show. Tom, who are we talking to?
AJ Wilcox. We're talking LinkedIn ads.
Sweet. All right. So for our audience, we're going through a gauntlet of news shows, and we certainly want to bring you some great content here. So be sure to rate and review the show. That gives us some props in the spaces of all cyber, and we really appreciate that advocacy because it's because of you why we do what we do. So thanks so much for everybody here from Site Strategics, and we'll talk to you next week. Do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. Bye-bye.